religious tolerance in Islamic countries. Are Islamic countries doing providing enough to maintain religious tolerance? Are Are Islamic countries providing enough to maintain religious tolerance? Assalamu alaikum. I am Saad from Adur. Religious tolerance. Islam always promote religious tolerance in their religion. For example, the Quranic verses La ikraha fid din, it reflects that Islam always promote tolerance among them. Whether the question, are Islamic countries providing enough to make religious tolerance? This question is so complex, but many of majority Muslim countries always promote religious tolerance in their countries. Also, many countries have laws for this coexistence and this tolerance for other non-Muslims. For example, United Arab Emirates, it's always promote religious tolerance. For example, it implemented the year 2019 as tolerance year. Also, the Abrahamic family house also example. Also, Morocco, Jordan, Indonesia, Turkey. These countries have a special Jewish heritage for preserve the Jews in their countries. Also, some of them provide refugee center for minorities in their countries. If we look the challenges against this religious tolerance in some powerful Islamic countries like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, we can see intolerance. For example, Saudi Arabia has an strict monotheism, practicing non-Islamic rights are strictly prohibited. Also, Taliban rule in Afghanistan also an offend to other non-Muslims, and also the countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, they have many of them have many restrictions on non-Muslims in educational area. Also, many women restrictions. Yeah,
Assalamu alaikum. I am Shammas Kadir from Deccan Dynamos. Our question is, are Islamic countries providing enough to maintain religious tolerance? I think I cannot answer this question in one word, because there are officially 57 Islamic countries in this world. Many countries have their own diplomatic politics on this. Some countries are supporting to tolerance, and some countries are limited in their tolerance. So, I am going back. The Prophet was supporting to the tolerance. There are some examples. He made a Medina pact. When he migrated from Makkah to Medina, he was tolerant with Yahudis in Medina. And another one is when he welcomed Arab Najran, Arab Christians from Najran to his own masjid in Medina. The Islamic countries are providing tolerance. The main example is UAE. I think UAE doing their tolerance too much, because they are providing the alcohol, pork in their countries, which are restricted in Islam. But they are UAE. And they are Abraham family to all masjids, churches, that like. There are some countries who are limited in their tolerance, like Saudi Arabia, because they to maintain their religious religious. The Medina are under the strict Wahhabi intervention of Islam, and Taliban in Afghanistan. We know the Taliban also restricted the women education, even though we can't imagine their tolerance with other religion.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Tawsif from Bidar Battalions. We are here to discuss about is Muslim countries are doing enough to maintain religious tolerance. Because before we dive into the topic, we have to know that what does it mean by religious tolerance. Tolerance means that to allow some a religion to in a particular religious state to allow other religions to practice their belief or their other religious activities. In some countries, in some Islamic countries, we can even see that they are practicing religious accommodation by providing their time, by providing them the law for their religious activities. In some of Islam always promote tolerance. In the verses of Holy Quran, we can see that lakum dinukum waliyadin, for you your religion is best, for me my religion is best. So Islam always promotes tolerance, but in this some countries are we can see some countries without tolerance, like Saudi Arabia, where there are there are religious tolerance, but they restrict some rules as in celebrating religious function in public. But also we can see that the Indonesia, with the most majority Islamic population, which allows Islamic tolerance, and Oman, UAE, which celebrated its 2019 year as the year of tolerance. So we can see many of the countries providing religious tolerance. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. I am Hafiz from Bidar Battalions. Today we are discussing about whether Muslim countries are doing enough to maintain religious tolerance. Religious tolerance means providing freedom to every religion to practice their beliefs without any discrimination. The question at our hand is Islamic countries uphold this principle adequately? Let's begin. The Muslim majority country which situated in the region like Southeast Asia, Middle East Asia are building states to prompt religious tolerance. For an example, we can take UAE, recently built interfaith centers. Also, additionally, we can take Indonesia. Indonesia have a constitution to provide religious freedom to practice their beliefs in their country. Whether they are all examples, in fact, in reality, many majority Muslim countries are not providing religious tolerance. We can take Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, there are strict regulation restricted to practice other religions' beliefs. Also, these all are based on these all are rooted in the cultural, not particularly in religious. In Saudi Arabia, there are recently there had a policy to make central segregation and have women freedom. There also have more country which providing social and legal discrimination to other countries. We can take Pakistan. Pakistan providing discrimination to minority religious like Ahmadis and Christians. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I am Shibli, and we are gathered here to discuss about more interesting and debatable topic: are Islamic countries providing enough to maintain religious tolerance? Religious tolerance is more than just a coexistence. So it is about fostering an environment where everyone can feel where everyone can equally thrive and feel safe and respected. That is why I firmly believe that these nations are not providing enough to maintain the religious tolerance. In many, as they said, there are so many of majority countries. I do agree that they promote religious tolerance, but the question arises: are they providing enough to maintain? Providing enough, but in which I firmly stand against, because we can see in Saudi Arabia or other countries like Pakistan where the blasphemies laws are passed and where the minority faces instances like discriminations and public worship of deity, or the study of Bible is not available, is strictly prohibited, or which also undergoes the imprisonment or strict unprivileged. I do agree that Islam promotes peace, and as they mentioned the Quranic verse like Rafiddin, but some countries we can see they are against these Islamic verse, Quranic verse, and that's it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good evening, everybody. I am from Guardians of Gulbarga, Muhammad Nashad. Here we are going to discuss about a debatable topic about are Islamic countries doing enough to promote religious tolerance. Here we mean by religious tolerance that where every religion can practice their religious activities freely without any restrictions. So, are Islamic countries doing enough? So, as we look into the historical context, the Quranic verse says that La ikraha fid din, there is no forcefulness in Islam. And the pact of Umar radiallahu anhu reflects this tolerance, as the pact of Umar radiallahu anhu gave the freedom of choice and practice of religious activities to other religions. And the millet system of Ottoman Empire also emphasizes this. And as for today's current issues, Saudi Arabia, there is no tolerance in religion. As for there is strict Wahhabism and strict Sharia laws. And against it, there is UAE, where in Arab Emirates, in 2019, the Abrahamic family house was formed, which promotes every religions to practice their religious activities. And there is Albania, Jordan, and Kosovo, where there is religious tolerance. In this context, we have to. There is a mixed picture in this. There is religious tolerance and intolerance. So we have to make sure that if Islamic countries have to make enough to promote this religious tolerance, there should be Islamic principles with providing human rights to everyone. Here I conclude.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am from Razi. I am Razi from Kodaje. My topic that we discussed that is Islamic country which promotes where promote religion tolerance. Firstly, we want to look at what is religious tolerance. Is that accept or respect on other religion practices in one country. It have many examples in history. When we go back from Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, we want to respect other religion people, and it have many examples that religious other countries, other Islamic countries which promotes religious tolerance. This concept have a deep historical root. It have a great tradition that historically Islamic societies have often members that always it says that we want to work with coexistence. It have many examples from we see that Ottoman Empire, the Suleiman the Magnificent. he promoted religious tolerance by building many churches for other religion people. And it have examples like Safavid Empire in 1561, which promotes religious tolerance. And benefit with this religious tolerance, it will reduce from conflict in the countries. And also it is economic growth. It also benefit in economic growth, like Saudi Arabia, which built a temple, and like Indian countries where traveling other like Saudi Arabia, it is economically growth for Saudi Arabia. Okay, I conclude here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, welcome everyone. Today we have here to discuss a timely and important topic. Our Islamic countries provide enough to maintain religious tolerance. First of all, we have to know what is religious tolerance. It means acceptance and consideration for every religions and peoples as they have. First of all, I want to say Islamic countries are promoting religious tolerance as they can. Like many countries like Saudi Arabia, Jordan, King Abdullah from Jordan, he also trying to maintain religious tolerance in his country very much. And King Mahmud from Morocco, he also introducing many more concepts to maintain religious tolerance in his country. Many more Islamic countries are implementing many more concepts to maintain religious tolerance in their countries. And also religious tolerance is very beneficial for the countries, as here said, economic growth and many other reasons. Economic growth is also possible by implementing concepts for maintain religious tolerance. That's all.
Now the floor is open for discussion.
The main reason I oppose, because if we look at the countries like Indonesia, the majority of Muslim majority countries, they provide a blasphemous law targeting non-Muslims with a high-profile case like the 1217 conviction of the former Jakarta governor, as we all aware of that incident. And they target Ahmadians and Christians, which leads to the marginalization. From 2013 to 2021, over 3,700 attacks on religion minorities were reported. I'm not blaming on Islam religion. I'm blaming on the people and their bad evil. I'm not saying that there is nothing like the like Rahafiddin and these verses are just a waste of time. I'm just saying that it's also it's behind the people's bad intentions, and they are insufficient in providing the religious tolerance like the countries I mentioned.
I follow your opinion, but we can't say every countries are not promoting religious tolerance. As in even Indonesia, there are many rules that promotes religious tolerance, and some of the countries like Pakistan, it doesn't go through the non-religious tolerance, but it's their anger issue with Hindus or a particular religion. In some of the countries like Oman or Morocco, UAE, which have majority Islamic background, they provide good freedom for other religions. the countries like Bangladesh, Turkey, Malaysia, Indonesia, Senegal are not only tolerant but encourage diverse opinions and culture. And as I mentioned in my presentation, that's all.
I want to add in Shibli's opinions. If we look to the Pakistan, it's PPC, Pakistani Penal Code. Its articles from 295 to 298 describes the blasphemy laws. It means that if anyone in the country damages or dissolves the Quran or I want to add to Shibli's opinion that the blasphemy laws. The country Pakistan also implemented blasphemy law in their articles. If you look into its PPC, Pakistani Penal Code, from 295 to 298, it describes the blasphemy laws. That it means if a person in the country damages Quran or dissolves it, or they insult the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will be punished by life sentence, or they will be executed to the death sentence. I think it will also affect all the citizens in the country. For example, the Salman Tafsir in 2018 also affected this law. He went to life imprisonment by this law. He was a Muslim, but he went to this law.
I want to oppose them. However, it's important to note that many of these issues are rooted in cultural, not purely religious practices. Some countries are moving towards reforms. For instance, Saudi Arabia has recently introduced more lenient policies concerning gender segregation and the right of women, which may eventually extend to broader religious tolerance. Also in other Muslim majority country, in Morocco, the countries like Morocco, interfaith dialogues are actively encouraged. It's also important to acknowledge that religious intolerance is not exclusive to Muslim nations, but can be found in countries with majorities of various faiths.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm here to say the reasons why they are limited in the religion's tolerance. First of all, in the Islamic countries, they provide the Shariat in their constitution. So, if in a Shariat there is a jinayat, if a person killed, he wanted to kill. That time, not only the Muslims but also other religious people also affecting this law. We know in Islamic Sharia, the girls needed to cover their full body with burqa like that. So this will affect to their other religions, and we know in this latest period the LGBTQ is providing or coming in many countries. So this will affect in the Islamic countries very much. Islamic countries.
As Shibli mentioned about Indonesia, the Indonesian rules are just the effect of local culture and politicals, that there are freedom for religious practices. As for the older ones who reside there, there was a documentary that I saw. The older ones, they reside there, they told that as far as they have freedom to practice their religions in the back of the door, they have no objection. And as for the youth in Indonesia, they have objection because in schools girls are mandatory to wear hijabs. So as against in UAE, as you know, pork is the meat of pig is prohibited in Islam. As for non-Muslims in UAE, they provide a different sector to buy pork and promote religious tolerance. And as for my opinion, religious tolerance should be practiced to maintain a firmly political and cultural society. And I stand in the balance that religious tolerance should be practiced with religious and human rights providing to the citizens.
I have a disagreement with the statement made by Shammas. He said that they are providing enough to maintain religious tolerance, and he exemplified that they are selling porks, even it is haram, prohibited in Islam. We can't assure that they are doing that with this intention to provide the religious tolerance. Maybe it for the economical growth of their country, or other intentions would be behind them. On the other hand, while in the same countries the other religions are facing the discrimination, minority religions are facing discrimination. So I have came up with the conclusion that we can't assure that by selling or providing a good alcohol or beef which is prohibited in Islam doesn't assure that it's sufficient for providing religious tolerance. As also Afiz said that countries like Saudi Arabia, which has brought the gender segregation, he said that he used the words may extend the gender religious borders. So in this we can't assure with the words in just may, which should be might. So, and that's it.
I also agree with Shibli in the topic of Saudi Arabia. They are planning to Vision 2030. It means to the growth of their growth and develop over their country. They aimed at reformation, at modernizing their country, and opening more religious and cultural diversity in their countries by developing cities and implementing many easy laws for and taking limitations from religious things.
Assalamu alaikum. We know Iran is limited in their religion tolerance. I'm saying that because of, we know the Iran is a Shia extremist country. In the recent the war between or conflict between Israel and Palestine, the helping groups are Hezbollah and Hamas. The help are providing from the Iran. In this extremist or high support for Islamic countries, they will can't support or provide a tolerance in their country, because they are very affect or close in their religious aspects.
I want to mention here about Ahmadiyya community in some Islamic countries. The Ahmadi communities, which believes that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not last prophet in Islam, but there is a prophet will come in the future. This idea was by Ghulam Ahmad in 1888, I think. In the Pakistan, the the government excluded this community, Ahmadi community, from Islam, because they are not following the mainstream of Islam. And the Ahmadiyya's community also receiving many intolerance activities from majority Muslim peoples. It is a attack for minorities in a country.
I agree with Shibli's opinion, but not completely. As we said, so countries like Saudis are not providing tolerance. As we discuss about the tolerance, we have said that tolerance means to allow to practice their belief or their other Islamic activities. So in countries like Saudi, Iran or Pakistan, they allow them to practice their belief, but not give them the religious accommodations. So that's all.
Assalamu alaikum. So as Shibli mentioned that the giving posts cannot, we cannot define it as they are giving religious tolerance. So the country like UAE, they do not need to provide pork for economical growth. It's for the religious tolerance, as I mentioned, because they do not need to sell something such cheap items for economically growth. Every religions need their freedom. So non-Muslims or other religions there who want to live freely. So providing freedom to them is a part of providing this type of items in supermarkets. And I stand that there are countries that do not provide religious tolerance, but they are taking a step forward to maintain religious tolerance. As Saudi Arabia, as Saad mentioned, Saudi Arabia is taking a step forward to maintain religious tolerance that could maintain economically and social stability. So I stand that there is a mixed culture, but the religious tolerance is better.
I want to say to Shibli that the economic growth in a country, they are trying to develop their economy through the religious tolerance. So the main reason for the economic country, it would be by religious tolerance.
So religious tolerance is not only by the economically, but we also see on our Islamic Sharia.
I want to oppose Saad's opinion. He said that before he said that about blasphemy laws that providing discrimination to minorities religious. He said that Pakistan excluding Ahmadis because they are not following exact Islamic opinion. They are not only showing discrimination to Ahmadis, they are also showing the minorities like Hindu Christians.
As Shamma said, I agree that economical growth is not only the income of the country. That's why I said they have the intention in other actions like economical growth, I stated. And the main reason I didn't oppose this statement fully. I'm saying that the countries, okay, I do accept that the countries, Islamic countries, not providing enough to maintain religious tolerance. They are providing, yes, but the question rises: are they providing sufficiently? And in which I stand against them firmly.
To provide, as Shibli said, sufficiency. To provide enough for religious tolerance, as I mentioned, there should be, the country should provide Islamic religious principles with providing human rights that could maintain a stable community and provide religious tolerance with maintaining the human rights.
I want to hear address you the survey about a survey by United States. The United States Commission on International Religious Freedom says there are totally 57 countries in OIC. 46 of them is Muslim majority, and only 23 of them providing religious freedom in their constitution. We want to look that the UN, United General Assembly, they have conditioned, they kept a condition that if a constitution, they need a minimum international standards. In Article 18, Universal Declaration of Human Rights says it includes the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. But some countries exclude the religious freedom. Also, they have providing the standard. International standard mentioned by UN. For example, Saudi are no concernly they are concerned about the religious freedom in their country.
Thank you, participants. Since we have completed the time, it's been 20 minutes, 40 minutes since we have started the discussion. That was very fruitful discussion. I mean, few of you have raised very genuine concerns, and also few contestants. Thank you once again for your time.
ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുക. അടുത്തതായി ഊല വിഭാഗത്തിന്റെ സോങ് ഉറുദു